The Zeigarnik Effect. Why unfinished tasks keep haunting your mind. Have you ever tried to fall asleep only to have a random, unfinished task pop into your head? Or struggled to concentrate because you remembered an email you forgot to send or a conversation you never finished? That lingering mental itch is no accident. It's a psychological phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik Effect. In this article, we'll explore what the Zeigarnik Effect is, how it impacts your focus, motivation, and mental health, and what you can do to harness it rather than fall victim to it. Once you understand it, you'll never look at your to-do list the same way again. What is the Zeigarnik Effect? The Zeigarnik Effect is a psychological principle that explains why our brains tend to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. It was first identified by Bluma Zeigarnik, a Soviet psychologist, in the 1920s. Zeigarnik observed that waiters could remember complex meal orders with surprising accuracy, but only until the meal was delivered and paid for. Once the task was complete, the details vanished from memory. But incomplete or ongoing tasks, those stuck like glue. In a series of experiments, Zeigarnik confirmed this effect in a lab setting. Participants were more likely to remember tasks they had been interrupted during, compared to those they completed without distraction. Why does it happen? The brain craves closure. When a task is started but not finished, it creates a state of mental tension or cognitive dissonance. Your mind wants to resolve this open loop, and that tension keeps the task active in your memory. Here's what happens neurologically. Starting a task creates a goal-oriented neural pathway. If the goal is not reached, the brain keeps that pathway active. The result is repeated reminders or intrusive thoughts about the task. It's not just about memory. It's about your brain constantly nudging you to complete what you started. How it affects your life. While it can be helpful for motivation and productivity, the Zeigarnik Effect can also backfire. 1. Mental clutter. Unfinished tasks occupy your mental space, making it hard to focus on what matters. 2. Anxiety and stress. The more tasks you leave incomplete, the more psychological tension builds up. This can lead to stress and even sleep disturbances. 3. Procrastination loop. Ironically, the discomfort of an unfinished task might cause you to avoid it even more, creating a vicious cycle. 4. Reduced presence. You may struggle to be present in the moment, constantly distracted by what you haven't done. Common real-life examples. You start writing an email but get interrupted. Later, you can't stop thinking about it. You leave a conversation unresolved. It replays in your mind all day. You begin cleaning but don't finish. You notice the mess every time you walk past it. You plan to work out but don't. Guilt lingers for hours. Sound familiar? That's the Zeigarnik Effect at work. How to use it to your advantage. Once you're aware of this phenomenon, you can use it to actually boost productivity and motivation. 1. Just start. One of the best ways to beat procrastination is to simply begin the task. The Zeigarnik Effect will do the rest. Once you've started, your brain will stay engaged and push you toward completion. 2. Break big tasks into smaller ones. Breaking large goals into bite-sized chunks increases the chance that you'll get started. Each mini-task you start triggers that same mental tension that drives completion. 3. Use it as a memory tool. If you're studying or trying to remember something, intentionally pausing partway through can actually increase retention. Your brain flags it as important. 4. Make to-do lists work for you. Writing down unfinished tasks helps your brain offload the tension. The task still exists, but it's now externalized. 5. Closure rituals. After finishing a task, take a moment to acknowledge its completion. This can give your brain a sense of resolution and help clear mental space. How to reduce the downsides. The Zeigarnik Effect can create mental pressure. Here's how to keep it in check. Time block. Schedule time to complete small tasks rather than letting them pile up. Prioritize. Not every unfinished task deserves your attention. Learn to let go of the trivial ones. Journal. Write down thoughts about tasks or conflicts you can't act on immediately. This reduces rumination. Be kind to yourself. Accept that not everything will get done at once, and that's okay. Final thoughts. Closing the loop. The Zeigarnik Effect shows us something powerful. The mind seeks completion. And in a world full of distractions and multitasking, understanding how your brain handles open loops can make a huge difference in your focus, stress levels, and overall mental clarity. So next time you can't stop thinking about that email you didn't send or that chore you left unfinished, don't be too hard on yourself. It's just your brain doing what it was wired to do. But now that you understand it, you can turn that mental energy into momentum, and finally close the loop.